Hi there, Zamin for Nurture. These are my thoughts and spoilers of House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 4, The Dance of the Dragons. Really good episode. This is the Wham Bam Sankey Mam action plan episode that I think a lot of people were craving for. I personally wasn't craving for an action-packed episode. It's nice when you do get one, but this is Game of Thrones, and sometimes the wits and the politics is far more interesting than having an action scene. Regardless, we've got some great action in this episode. But prior to that, which happens near the end of this episode, we get a lot of interesting moments with, first of all, with Daemon Targaryen, who's definitely under the influence of some sort of dark magic by Alice Rivers, who is somebody who works as kind of like a maester at Harrenhal. She's not a maester, though, don't get me wrong. But she doesn't claim to be human either when talking to Daemon. She says that she's a barn owl in human form, but she also claims to be a witch. She's giving Daemon stuff to drink. Daemon does drink it. Daemon, being a warrior, should know that when it comes to going up against sorcery, he's outmatched. But he does get fucked over by her on a couple of occasions. And it is pretty cool to see during the course of the episode some of the things, some of the mischief Alice Rivers is doing with Daemon. And Daemon kind of accepting it to a degree. But yeah, there's some great scenes in that. But going on to other things as well, like we have, for instance, Corlys, Targaryen, the black Targaryen with the silver hair. He definitely has a couple of bastard sons, in my opinion, and those are the guys who saved him from certain death. Now, when Rhaenys comes to visit Corlys at his ship, he sees the guys who saved him, or one of the guys, has a good look at him, touches his face, gets an idea of his of how he looks, so to speak, and she makes some sort of conclusions. Now, if you can pick up on that, then I think you can realize that yeah, this guy is the bastard son of Corlys, and so is his brother as well. I'm not obviously 100% sure, but this is the vibe I'm getting. If you think I'm right, let me know. Comment below, all of that sort of stuff. Now, Alicent has some really cool scenes. First of all, she has it with Larys. I do think at one point I thought Larys was gonna make her show his feet again, but that wasn't the case. He's playing an interesting game himself. He does seem to be playing ball at this moment in time, but if you do remember, he has replaced the Queen's staff with staff that he has of his own. So in a way, he's kind of got his own spies. He's now being the master of whisperers. He wants obviously all his people all over the place, coming back with information for him. But unfortunately for him, the information he's coming back is not too helpful for King Aegon. He's not really happy, and he's throwing tantrums when it comes to the meeting of all of his council members, including Aemond. He's there as well. But his tantrums are falling on deaf ears. I mean, none of them are taking him too seriously. He even leaves the room at one point, and discussions of what should be happening next regarding the strategic movements to go up against Rhaenyra continues without him, because they trusted Aemond. I mean, as far as they're concerned, Aemond is the true strategist. Why would they want to listen to a spoilt brat like Aegon? And Aegon does take his problems to his mother, Alicent, who is drunk as fuck. I mean, she's hiding it pretty well, but considering she's drinking that moon or the poppy or whatever it is, milk of the poppy or moon, whatever, this is something that her maester had prepared for her, because she's obviously up the duff every time she's banging Kristen Cole. She's taking that to terminate her pregnancies, but she's also drinking a lot, so much so that when Aegon tries to pour himself a drink from one of these wine bottles, it's empty. And Alicent can see right through Aegon, and Aegon is trying to maybe throw his weight around, but he's not working with Alicent. I mean, what are you going to do? Arrest your mother? Hang your mother like you hang all those rat catchers? That's what she said to him. Some good stuff there. But all of this is kind of boiling down to, in my opinion, what matters the most, and that is the battle at Rook's Rest. You see, the factions, both the blacks and the greens, have been taking over particular parts of Westeros. Obviously, Harrenhal has gone to the blacks, but the greens have taken the smaller locations prior to reaching Rook's Rest, and they've got a bigger army as well. And Kristen Cole is leading this charge, And when they finally reach Rook's Rest, we get our Dance of Dragons. Rhaenys decides to play, be the dragon rider for the blacks, and Aemond is in hiding with his dragon, waiting to pounce. But before you know it, out of nowhere, Aegon, the king himself, comes along with his dragon and starts battling Rhaenys, as the battle below them also happened with the armies of these different factions going up against each other, and it's fucking crazy. I'm not the biggest fan of seeing animals being hurt for the sake of humans fighting each other. So, but regardless, it is CGI creatures anyway. But nevertheless, like some of the stuff that these dragons do to each other, like they try to claw each other open and bite each other and all of that sort of stuff. Their toxic, sort of venomous, flammable, oily blood is spilling on the soldiers below, and they're getting fucked over by it. Some crazy scenes. And as these two dragons of Rhaenys and Aegon are coming at each other, next thing you know, out of the woods, out of hiding, comes Aemond with his big dragon. He has the biggest dragon of them all, and Aegon believes that his brother's coming to save him. But this is the moment where Aemond basically tries to take out his brother, because this is the Game of Thrones, so to speak. And he also gets the opportunity to take out Rhaenys as well. So he does Dracarys, which is the fire breathing thing, from his dragon on both dragons at the same, on both Aemon and Rhaenyra at the same time as they're together fighting each other. He tries to burn them both, and because of that, Aegon is now taken out of the equation. His dragon crashes and burns in the forest, and Rhaenys is still alive, but she could escape, but she decides to come around for one more attack. And unfortunately for her, that's the last we do see of her, because Aemond, he's in much better condition. He's got a much stronger dragon. He hasn't taken any hits yet, and he finishes off Rhaenys, and she falls to the ground to her death. And the queen that never was is no longer with us. She is gone. One significant character. And you could say that about Aegon too, but I do believe he will come back. We do see his corpse later on. When I say corpse, I don't want to. That sounds like he's dead. We do see his body. We're not 100% sure if he's dead or not. I mean, I don't want to. I did say some spoilers in the books. He's not necessarily dead. He's like fucked over big time, which is why Aemon takes over as the ruler, because the king is incapacitated. So that might come into play in future episodes regarding what's happened to Aegon. And Rhaenys' dragon happens to fall right onto Rook's Rest, causing one of the walls to break, and for the Greens to infiltrate Rook's Rest and basically finish everyone off. And Kristen Cole, of all the people who's amongst all this battle, he somehow survives everything. He didn't get hit by any of the oil. I mean, none of the fire that got breathed down on the Greens didn't hit him. But he does wake up from battle as he's on the floor unconscious, and the first thing he wants to do is check on the king. Regardless of what him and Aemon might have been scheming, I didn't think he wanted the king to be dead, or he still feels like he has a responsibility for the king. Goes to check on the king, and obviously, as I said earlier, that's when we see Aegon unconscious or possibly dead. Who knows? I guess we'll find out next week. But regarding Rook's Rest, it's taken over by the Greens. The Blacks, they look really in dire need for a victory of some sort. The Greens are constantly taking over more factions. The Blacks have, they're losing to so many other factions. Even earlier on in this episode, there was one faction that was taken over by the Blacks, but the Greens beat them. And then they told the rest of the faction that was with the Blacks, join us or die. Obviously, they were going to join them, but they also had to kill and behead the leader of that particular faction just to seal the deal that the soldiers were going to join the green side. That was pretty cool. Always good to see a beheading. Listen, Disney, show your fucking beheadings. Don't fucking hide them behind a tree, for fuck's sake. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Just a great episode. I give this episode a 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it a lot. I want to give it a 9. Yeah, maybe I'll give it a 9 out of 10. 8 or 9 out of 10. I mean, you can pick your bones from it. Literally, it was fun. Actually, yeah, I'll stick with the 9. 9. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. It was good, enjoyable stuff. And this is what some people want from their Game of Thrones, and they definitely got it for sure with this particular episode. I hope that satisfies them, and we can get back to some of the more regular stuff when it comes to shows like this, with the scheming and the plot weaving and the politics and stuff like that. Our chess pieces got severely moved with this particular episode, so there's going to be some aftermath of this and unrest, and it'll be interesting to see what the people at the top of all of this, and as well as their council, decides to do next. So I can't wait for that. Anyway, let me know what you think of this particular episode. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube. We're the greatest social media channel you never heard of. Take care now, and if you've forgotten already, the name's NerdTube. Remember it.